Hey, good morning, everyone. I wanted to jump on this morning and do a video about how to plan and set goals for 2019 when you, quote, don't know what you want, unquote. I know that we're in January. I can't believe we're almost halfway through January, or maybe halfway through today. And everyone's really focused on what it is that they want to create for the year. And I was doing a seminar last week with the American Marketing Association on the real secret to getting what you want in 2019. And someone asked a great question. She said, how can I set goals for this year, excuse me, if I don't know what I want? And that question actually came up a couple of times last week. I also had one of my clients, when we were doing a private session, asked me the same thing. And so I thought, great opportunity to jump on and talk about this. So how to set goals, how to plan for 2019 when you don't know what you want. So the first thing I want to say about this is that this whole idea of I don't know what I want, I don't actually believe that. I think that actually you do know what you want, but you are not allowing yourself to hear or to listen to what that is. And that usually is because you are trying to set your goals or do your planning from your head, and your head just can't figure out what you want. Somewhere deep down inside, though, you actually do know what you want, but it's just getting in a place to access that. And so I find that sometimes people use the saying, I don't know what I want. It's kind of like a self-sabotage. It's a way of not connecting with what you want. So by not knowing what you want, you get to stay exactly where you are. You get to stay safe, and you get to stay within what you know. And connecting to what you want, it might be outside of what you know, or it might be kind of outside of your comfort zone or a little scary. And so sometimes unconsciously, we can use this idea that I don't know what I want as self-sabotage. If I don't know what I want, then I never have to take any action, I never have to do anything, and I never have to step outside of my comfort zone. So in my response to her, that was kind of the first thing that I said. The other thing that I find happens is I don't know what I want, or I don't know how to get there. And I find that a lot of us, before we are willing to take step one, it's like we need to know what step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 looks like. We need to know what the outcome is going to be before we're willing to take one step or one action. And that is also extremely limiting, because it keeps us confined to what our head can conceptualize and see. And I've done tons of videos talking about how limiting our head is, our mind is, because its role is to keep us safe. So 70% of our thoughts have some kind of negative content. And if you live from your head, do all your planning from your head, it's always going to give you a reason not to be brave, not to have courage, not to take action from your heart, because it wants to keep you safe, and it knows that where you are right now is safe, and that creating that thing out there that's unknown to you is not. So it's going to give you all of these reasons to tell you not to do anything. And a big one is, well, we can't do anything until we know what the outcome's going to be, or what it's going to look like. And that's so limiting. I use the excuse me, analogy of airplane travel. So the possibility for airplane travel has always existed, but that idea needed to come to someone, come through someone, and they needed to be brave enough to take a step towards creating that without knowing what step 10 was going to look like. Because let's face it, back when airplane travel was first created, what we have today could never have been a possibility in the minds of someone back then. They just wouldn't have been able to grasp it or conceptualize it. So if they had waited to take action until they could know what the outcome was going to look like, there would be no innovation in the world. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. You have a unique gift and talent that you are here to share with the world. There's something magical that is supposed to manifest through you. And so again, planning from your head, doing everything in a logical, sequenced order, you're limiting yourself. You're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing the world a disservice. So most people will tell themselves, I can't take any action at all because I don't know what I want, and until I know what step 10 and the outcome looks like, I can't do anything. So that's another way that we stay stuck in this energy of, oh, I don't know what I want, so I can't do anything. So my advice to the person in the seminar that asked was, what inspires you? What brings you to life? What kinds of things do you like to do? Is there something that you've always wanted to do that you've never done? And maybe you could do that. Really, I just advised her to take some kind of inspired action. And maybe that action isn't going to be the thing, but what I find is the act of taking action helps to shift the energy, and it helps us to step into the inquiry instead of needing to know. If we wait until, if we're in this energy of I need to know, we're going to stay stuck. So I invited her, would you be willing to be in the energy of inquiry, to go and try some things? And maybe those things won't be the thing, but you don't know where it's going to lead from there. And I can give a really great example from my own life. Back many, many years ago, when I was working for the Australian government, and I really knew that it wasn't a great fit for me, and I wanted to do something more to help people. But I didn't know what that was. And for ages, I stayed in that energy of, I don't know what to do, so I didn't do anything. And I became unhappier and unhappier and unhappier. Until one day, I just decided I need to do something. So I went to the Hierophant, which was a local place in Canberra, and I enrolled to take a homeopathic first aid class. And from that class, I met some amazing lifelong friends, one of whom was actually at the birth of my son. I had fun. I learned a little bit about homeopathy, and it opened up some doors and some possibilities for me to step into something else. Now, I don't practice homeopathy. I use it personally because my doctor is a homeopathic doctor, but I don't actually use anything that I learned in that class in my business. And in fact, my business today looks nothing like it did when I first started it way back in Canberra, and it looks nothing like it did 2 years ago. But what I have learned is the importance of staying in the inquiry and taking inspired action and doing things that I love without it having to lead to an outcome, or without it having to necessarily be the thing or the thing that I do forever. It's just the thing that brings me joy, that brings me connection and fulfillment today. So my invitation to you is, if you are trying to plan and set goals for this year and you're telling yourself, I don't know what it is that I want, well, I want to call BS on that, because I think that there are things that you know that you love to do, something that you've always wanted to try, that you have a good idea of some things that give you a sense of joy and connection. So I invite you to write down what are those and to just pick something and try it and see what that can lead to and what it can open up for you. My invitation to you in 2019 is, instead of needing to know, to have everything planned out and fixed and determined, are you willing each and every day to be in the inquiry, to ask yourself, what feels good today? What is it that I'm wanting to step into and create today? Because we're always shifting and evolving. And I think my example of the homeopathy and the way that my business has evolved is a perfect example. That what is the thing today and the way that my business looks today is going to change. As I grow and evolve and change, so too is my business and the next level of things that I want to grow and create. So that is my little bit of advice for you today, my friends. I'm calling BS on any one of you out there who is telling yourself that you can't do anything because you don't know what it is that you want to do. And I am inviting you, take some breaths, get out of your head, connect into your heart, and ask yourself, what's that one thing that I've always wanted to try? And you might be amazed at the answer and the possibility that it opens up. In fact, in a session with a client last week, she really wanted to work on what are the next steps for her professionally. And she said that she was so frustrated because she has no idea what it is. And by the end of the hour, she was actually connected to the very thing that it was that she wanted to do next. Simply by being willing to be in the inquiry, asking herself what's something that she loves to do that she hasn't done enough of or wants to do more of, and what are some steps that she could take towards that. And so if she can do it, and if I can do it, and if the woman I was speaking to at the seminar last week can do it, so can you. And if you want some support, if you would love to jump in, then of course, comment below or send me a message, and I would be more than happy to sit down with you for an hour and dig into this and support you to be connected to what it is that you want to create for yourself this year. All right, my friends, I hope that you enjoyed this and got something great out of it, and I wish you all a great day.